Welcome to the Let's Talk BS podcast. I'm Bryan.
And I'm Sofia, and we're coming to you live from the
757.
Hey, good morning, Bryan.
Hey, good morning, Sofia. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing pretty good. I got my coffee in hand, and I'm ready to roll.
I hear you. I got my water bottle in hand, and I'm ready to roll.
Yeah, because you don't drink coffee, right?
Yeah.
Or caffeine, or any of the above. But
Yeah.
you drink. Wait, no, you do drink caffeine, but it ain't coffee, so it ain't the same.
There you go. Yeah. It depends on what it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, how's everything been going with you? It seems like it's been a little bit since we done this. How you been?
I know you went to Tennessee.
Yeah.
Went on that trip. I wasn't able to make that particular work trip, but been doing pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah, and I know that that event was a great event. So
Yeah.
tell everybody how it went.
Yeah. So I think the last podcast we had right before the last one we did, I went out of town or did go to Nashville that Sunday. So it was from Sunday to Wednesday. It was really good. It was a summit for a lot of different mortgage professionals like myself. There were other folks there. There was a couple of agents, a couple of other people that are within our world, but mainly it was for mortgage professionals. And it was good. It was my first time ever going to Nashville, Tennessee. Nashville was dope. I mean, I had a great time. The weather was great. Had a lot of good food. Had their hot chicken. We a lot of different bars and restaurants. I was able to see some of your famous country singers. They had their own bars down there, so it was pretty cool. Took a picture in front of Elvis. They had a statue of Elvis out there, so that was pretty cool. We stayed right in the heart of downtown. We were right there. The seminar was at Margaritaville down there in Nashville. And another cool thing is they had this area. I've never been to New Orleans before, but they had this area. I forget the name of it. I have it in my phone. But it's this area where it's kind of like you are in downtown, and then they have you go down this alleyway, and it has all these speakeasy, blues types of restaurants. And it was cool. We ended up, a couple of my coworkers, we went together. So, we kind of hung out when it came to, time outside of the actual event itself. And so, we went out there, had some drinks, had some food, and, kind of kicked it a little bit. So it was good. I mean, we learned a lot of stuff, a lot of different things that, I could take back in this market. I mean, there were a lot of professionals from all over the United States that were in different markets, all kind of feeling some of the challenges we're having to go through right now with the with the rate environment and just kind of how things have been going the last couple of months. So it was good to kind of get our minds together, kind of figure out some different strategies, see what's working, see what's not working for folks in other markets, and be able to come take it back here in Hampton Roads, and like I said, also some of the other states that we service as well. So I mean, it was good. I learned a lot. I feel like that in the ninja cell in the last month or two has gave me a lot of good stuff to kind of finish the year out with and kind of kick off 2023 on a good foot.
Yeah, all of the ninja selling meetings that we've been having, and we kind of hold each other accountable.
Yeah.
And get on each other about not doing some of the ninja training. I don't even know what you would call those, exercises.
Yeah, exercises. Yeah.
So I love that because it keeps us accountable between each other.
Yeah.
And then speaking of the rates, we had a rate decrease.
Yeah. So I was gone Sunday to Wednesday. Last week was crazy. So I was gone Sunday to Wednesday, came back Wednesday, then Thursday we had the CPI report come out.
Oh.
It was going over, the different for cost and goods, for folks, or how much the prices have been on those types of things. And the report actually came in better than anticipated. So there was a turn for the better when it comes to rates. I mean, rates on Thursday alone improved a full 1.5. We were over 8, at that time.
Some products.
In some of our products we were over 8. The kind of standard rate that we were seeing, the average rate was over 8, and then now, the rates, got down back into the 6s, which was pleasant. I had a couple people that I locked in So that was cool. I mean, like I said, it was a great day in our world when it comes to mortgage. Kind of seeing things hopefully start to trend in the right direction. I mean, I know the Feds meet again here in about a month. The jobs report comes out in early December as well. So there's some different things that are getting ready to start coming out as we close the year out that could have an impact on, the direction of what rates are going to go. So, I'm hoping with that good news that we had on Thursday that, we continue in that trend and finish the year out. You have rates, turn for the better. And then, like I said, start 2023 off with a bang. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
And then as soon as you came back, we had that good news that happened on, Wednesday?
Thursday,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Your sister had her ceremony, too.
Yeah.
I saw those pictures online.
Oh,
that looked neat.
Yeah, that was cool, man. So, like I said, last week was busy. Was traveling from Sunday to Wednesday. Got back Wednesday evening, and then the next day on Thursday, got the good information. So my phone was ringing. It was busy, but I was also on the road. You're right. So my sister, as I mentioned previously on some other episodes, she just recently passed the bar. And so with her already in the Richmond area and she's working up there right now, she had a private ceremony that was, it's not normal. Like normally when you pass the bar, you have a ceremony where amongst all the other folks who passed at that particular time. And so she actually had her own private ceremony at the Supreme Court of Virginia in Richmond. Justice Powell was the person who did the swearing in. And so it was cool. Like, we drove up there that morning around like 9, 10 o'clock. We took the kids out of school. We wanted them to be able to witness this. So it was me, Brooke, my 2 children. It was also my Aunt Debbie, who's been a vital part in my sister's life as well, who's my mom's sister. She came into town from North Carolina. She wanted to witness it as well. And then my mother and my father was there, and then my sister's boyfriend, he was there as well. So it was cool. Like, we got there. They toured us around the Supreme Court of Virginia. They showed us a lot of stuff, a lot of historical things, some of your first, black attorneys and some of your first black judges. I mean, they kind of gave us all the different information about it. They told us how proud they were of my sister. And it was just cool. I mean, they had a whole ceremony when they had to swear in. They pulled the Bible out. My mom and my dad were right there. They read like our names for the people who were actually, that were there, like I mentioned to you, as witnesses. And it was crazy. And then my sister got, after the whole process finished, then my sister had to actually speak. And that was pretty cool seeing her in that element. I never really seen her like that before, like her, in front of, these important folks and in front of her family, kind of talk about her journey up to this point. So
are you going to go to her first court case?
Yeah, I will. I would definitely try to make that, if it works out. but nah, it was dope, man.
Cool. I like the fact that the person who, pretty much did her ceremony was an African American. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was cool. That was cool. And actually, I don't even have to ask my sister. I don't know if that was done on purpose.
Yeah.
Probably, knowing my sister, it probably was. But I don't know. I thought that was cool. I mean, I know she's one of the top judges there in the Supreme Court, in the Supreme Court of Virginia. So, I know it's like a panel of, I think she said like 7 or 8 of them. And she's the second highest regarded there. So it was pretty cool to have her be a part of it. I mean, she showed us her office. She's from Brunswick. I think, is it North Carolina or Virginia? But she was talking about her Brunswick stew that she makes for Thanksgiving, and she offered us some and all that. And, I mean, it was cool. Like I said, I actually can't even lie. They was cutting some onions in the other room, and they kind of opened the door, and I got a big whiff of it, you know what I mean? So some tears came down my eyes a little bit, you know what I mean? But we ain't gonna talk about that too much, you know what I mean? But yeah, it was, it was definitely a great day for the Royster household. I was the only one. It was a great day for the Royster household, man. Definitely emotional. I don't know, fellas. I will say I am kind of an emotional guy. Like, I listen, like, when things happen that are like monumental or just touchy, I'll shed a tear. You know what I'm saying? I'll shed a tear. I can't even front that like I don't. And so seeing my sister on that platform, her, just kind of really just shining in front of these folks and in front of us, man. I just kind of went back in my mind of us, growing up fighting over, and we didn't fight honestly a lot. Only time we really fought was like when we were like on road trips and we were in the car, and like she would want to sleep and like have her head on my side of the car, like on the armrest, and like it would kind of limit me of what I can do as far as my arms because I was bigger than her. So we would kind of fight about that a little bit, but outside of that, we didn't fight much, man. You know what I mean? But we always kind of were like very competitive. You know, she always looked up to me, and you know, I felt like I was always trying to be a good example for her, and to see her, you know, now as a sworn in attorney, I mean, it just kind of like all of those memories kind of like, you know, hit at one time. So that's why I kind of got a little emotional. But it was dope, man. I'm proud of my sister, man. I'm happy for her. I love you, Diamond. Keep doing great stuff.
Well, let's just say that my week was not as eventful as his. I pretty much, you know, just kind of rode the wave here back at home. Let's see what happened with me on those few days. You know, I just kind of like reached out, did some more loan officer type of work. I was actually getting prepared for my event that was on Friday. So on Friday, I had a Veterans Day event where I basically paid for coffee for all veterans and active duty at a company called Pale Horse Coffee in Greenbrier, Chesapeake, Virginia. So that was a great turnout. We were able to build some great relationships.
Yeah, man. That was awesome. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was really, really, really nice. It was, you know, there was military folks in there coming up to us saying, hey, I'm a real estate agent as well, you know. So having those connections and possibly doing business with them, I mean, it was a really, really, really good event.
Yeah.
And even though it was raining.
I was about to say, it was pouring down raining that day, man.
It did not stop our shine.
Right.
We were out there. We moved everything indoors, and it just so happened that the shipyard was having a ceremony for different veterans, and they were like, the color guard had a ceremony. I mean, it was just so much going on for Veterans Day, and because that company is veteran owned, it was a place where veterans migrated to anyways.
Yeah.
So people who did not even know about the event still were there, and it was just so much conversation, so many different things going on that it just turned out to be one of basically, like, besides my backpack giveaway, I mean, it was probably the best event that I've had.
Yeah,
so
I think
far.
it was good, man. Like I said, I was on fumes. You know, literally I drove up to Richmond for the day. You know, had the ceremony for my sister, and then you know, we went out to eat after and everything, and then we drove back. Got into a lot of traffic. Didn't get back until late at night. Had to get the kids situated, and they were out of school on Friday because of the holiday, because of Veterans Day. And they both weren't feeling well too, which was unfortunate too. But you know, I did come to the event. I came a little bit late, but it was cool. Like, I mean, I like Sophia mentioned, I mean, it was a lot of different people there that came. A lot of connections were made. And it feels good, honestly, just giving back to the community, man. Right. Obviously, with here, in this area, you know, being a strong military presence, you know, it's you're always seeing different military folks, and sometimes you don't notice if they're military, right? Because if they're veterans, kind of, you know, walking around civilian outfits or whatever. But it was cool just to kind of connect with some folks, give back, show them their appreciation for their service. And like I said, Pale Horse has always been gracious, you know, when it comes to allowing us to do that and you know, obviously bring attention to the fellow military members. So it was cool. Like I said, I know Sophia had a great time, made a lot of connections. I know an agent that you team up with, you know, she also was there as well, her and her team, and I think they had a lot of good things to say.
Definitely shout out to Davina Hughes, because me and her have been working together for years. We actually came into the business the same year within months of each other. So we've been working together for years, even with my previous company. So always great working with her and her team. She's building, so just absolutely love it. That was cool. And I sorry to go back. I know we were talking about Friday. I remember, I don't know about you, there was a conversation I was having with a couple of my colleagues that were in Nashville about daylight savings time, right? Yes.
So that same weekend, that we traveled.
All of that travel, everything that was going on, not only were the events present, but daylight savings changed.
Yeah,
so everybody was waking up like
oh my gosh,
super early.
That thing, so we had daylight savings time, and then with us traveling to Nashville, we were in the central time zone, so we was also an hour behind. So it threw my clock all the way off. Like, I mean, so literally, you know, I'm 2 hours behind. So I'm waking up. I typically wake up pretty early because I normally work out, you know, around like 5:30 every morning. So I was typically waking up at like 3. I was extremely tired around like 6 because I go to sleep pretty early around 8:30, 9 o'clock. So it was just like, it had my clock all the way off. And we were talking about it like, you know, there's several other places that don't, you know, observe daylight savings time. Like, do you really feel like daylight savings time is something that is needed? Like, I understand the concept of it, but I don't know, man. I think it's just like a waste of, I don't even know what you want to call it, wasted of, but I just feel like it just, I don't know. I think it's useless at this point, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, I think at this point, I don't think that's something that they'll probably change, but I don't know. I mean, whether it's dark in the morning or dark at night, it's still dark at the wrong time. Like, we definitely need that summer daylight time. So
yeah, I get it. I get it. And that's what they do. They say in the fall, the time falls back, so you can get, you know, it gets darker earlier. And in the summertime, time springs forward, you know, so you can stay later outside and all that. So I get it, but I don't know, man. It just seems like it's like one of them old things that they could just kind of go away. I feel like a lot of times they're updating stuff, they're modernizing stuff as things go. I just feel like, I don't know. And
I believe that you can, the state can change it, right?
I believe so. Yeah. I believe so, man. But yeah, I just wanted to touch on that. That was something that we were all kind of like a discussion we were all talking about because everyone experienced that and everybody was going through that exact same type of, you know, in the mornings we're like, whoa.
Yeah, especially on Election Day.
Yeah.
So if you guys are not aware, Election Day was November 8th on Tuesday last week, and the kids were out of school. So my kids at least were up. They already wake up uber early. So they were up even earlier. I was like, oh my God, if y'all don't go to sleep. Like, it was just ridiculous. So last week was, you know, one of those things where it was just a lot going on. Definitely a lot going on. So fast forward, you know, Friday we had the Veterans Day event. Who else went out to go see Wakanda? I went on opening day.
We'll see.
I was there at 1 o'clock.
You seen the movie? It's called Black Panther 2. Wakanda's the place where they be at. You know,
Wakanda forever.
Where the vibranium is, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Wakanda. Yeah, we both did
Wakanda forever.
Wakanda forever. There we go. Yeah.
So definitely went
God rest
check out that movie.
T'Challa's soul, man. It's my guy, man.
Boswick, right? Bosman.
Bosman. Yeah,
I think that's how you pronounce the last name.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that movie was great to me because I'm a big Marvel fan. So, you know, if you haven't checked out the movie, let me just tell you, if you are a true Marvel fan, you know that when the movie ends, you have to stay to catch the little clip that they show you. It's like a sneak peek of what's happening next. And if you haven't watched the movie, or even if you have, that sneak peek is awesome.
Yeah, I definitely didn't do that.
Because you're not a Marvel fan.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I like Marvel movies, but I'm not, I guess, obviously
you're
hearing
not
you.
Wakanda forever. That's
I'm about to say I'm Wakanda forever. I don't know. I just didn't do it. Like after the movie was over, I got up. I would say, you know, in my 20s, I would go like to all the Marvel movies. And I would do that. I would stay and watch I would go watch the movies at midnight because that's when they used to drop at midnight. I don't know if they probably still do that. I don't even know if they do that still.
No, they nowadays if a movie premieres on, it usually is a Friday, you can actually go to the movies on Thursday practically all day and watch the movie.
For real?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's been a thing for years since my daughter was born. My oldest daughter, that's been a thing for that long.
For real? Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. I'm about to say, I know here.
You know, you got to think about it. I grew up in this, like, town where there wasn't really nothing to do.
Correct.
So, movies, skating ring, you know, all those things, we made sure we were on it.
Yeah. So, I would go to the movies here, like, in my 20s. Like I said, that was something, like, that it was, like, a cool thing to do. And I know, like, when movies would come out here, but what they used to do is they would say, like, you know, if the movie came out, because movies typically came out on a Friday, right? So then what would happen is Thursday night, at like they'll do like maybe a midnight showing of the movie, right?
Correct.
So you'd be the first person to be able to see the movie Thursday at midnight, but you weren't able to watch it throughout the whole day on Thursday.
Oh yeah, they started at like, it doesn't start in the morning on Thursday. It's typically like
afternoon,
3, 4, 5 o'clock.
Oh, okay.
Evening, more like hours that they'll
that's cool
release. If there's ever a movie that's coming out that you want to see, just check the day before.
Okay.
And I guarantee you that you'll see it there.
That's cool. That's cool.
Sure.
That's cool.
For
so you
sure.
said you saw Black Panther the first day it came out. So you saw it that Friday. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
I left actually the Veterans Day event and went straight to the movie theater.
Oh.
I picked up my daughter.
Okay.
Because I actually saw the movie on by default.
Okay.
So my daughter has 2 friends, and they were all going to see it, and there was another parent who basically paid for all the girls to go.
Okay, that's what's up.
So one of the parents dropped out.
Oh, wow, okay.
And so I was having a tough time trying to schedule, like, because I wanted to see it too.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, well, I reached out to the parent. I was like, well, what time are y'all seeing it? What movie theater? Because I was going to go ahead and bring my other 2 kids and we go see it almost at the same time to give her opportunity to hang out with her friends, but also give me the opportunity to be present when I needed to pick her up and drop off and all that stuff.
Makes sense.
When I reached out to the mom, she was like, hey, actually, I have an extra ticket. She was like, you can just come with us.
Okay.
So I was like, okay. So, I went ahead and went with my oldest, and that was opportunity for us to like hang out together, because that doesn't happen too often. I mean, it does happen, but I try to make sure that it happens individually with all my kids all the time.
Yeah.
So this was just her time, and we went and saw it, and it was good. And we left there, came home, did the normal things that we do on a Friday, but it was pretty good. It was pretty good.
So that Friday, like I said, literally, I told you I was in Nashville Sunday to Wednesday. Thursday, I had my sister's ceremony, so I was traveling back and forth from Richmond. Richmond's about an hour 40 minutes from where I live in Chesapeake, Virginia. Friday, I attended Sofia's event. My kids were sick. My aunt, she was in town, as I mentioned before, and she stayed with us, during that time or whatever. So it was cool to kind of catch up with her. I hadn't really caught up with her on that level in a while. So you know how it is when you have someone staying at your house, you kind of got to, host them a little bit, entertain or whatnot. So, we couldn't just like lounge around and kind of do that. We were, kind of doing the hosting thing a little bit. Mm-hmm. So she ended up leaving Saturday morning. So Saturday morning, early Saturday, I ended up going to ODU football game. ODU played against JMU. I got a couple of my buddies that one guy I played with in college, another one of my buddies who I grew up with, and we went to rival high schools. He went to JMU, and so we had been talking about this game for a while. We're like, hey man, it'd be cool to kind of check out ODU versus JMU. They're both now in the same conference, because ODU just recently switched conferences. So it was like, hey, it would be cool to kind of see the games towards the end of the year or whatnot. And luckily on Saturday, the weather was gorgeous. I mean, it was like down there 80 degrees on Saturday, And so it was 4 of us. All of us had our wives with us, and we went to the game. We went to our Atlantic Bay has a big tailgate they do every single home game. So it was pretty cool to kind of go there and get some food prior to the game. And then, we hung out, watched the game. It was pretty cool just to kind of catch up with them, because we don't really get to see each other that much. All of us have young children. All of our schedules are all over the place or whatnot. So it was pretty cool to do that. And then Saturday evening, I got invited to a Friendsgiving from one of my other buddies. Him and his wife, they always are good at like trying to do games and do stuff or whatever. So we went over to their house and did that. So literally like that week, I mean, I'm every single day was just like, man, like it caught up to me the other day. I was like tired, man. Like I was really, really, really tired, just kind of all these events coming. But going back to Saturday when we was at the Friendsgiving, there was a big conversation. My assistant, her and her boyfriend, who just recently had a child, were adamant about a draw 4 card not being, when it comes to Uno, right? We were talking about the game Uno. They were saying that a draw 4 card is not considered a wild card. And everybody that was there, it's probably about 16 to 18 folks there. Everyone was like, what are you talking about? Like, you can use it as a wild card. Like, it's, you know what I mean? Like, but they were just adamant about it. And it was very funny. because everyone was giving their point of view about how it is. Even if you look at the card, it has all the colors of the cards on the card, like wild cards do. And it was just like, and at the very end, they were like, you know what? You're right. It is a wild card. And it was just so funny. Like, it took all of that for them to come around and be like, you know what? You're right. You're right.
We're gonna get serious, man.
Yeah, it gets real serious. It gets real serious. It gets real serious. So it was cool. We played jesters, jesters or guesters. I don't know how you say it right, but
I never played that game.
You never played before? Okay, that's pretty cool. I mean, it's kind of like charades where they have a level that's either easy, medium, or hard, and you have these 4 cards. And then what happens is you have this like little thing that you put them in, and you start a timer. And then like after like 10 seconds, the first card goes down, the second card goes down, and the third card every 10 seconds. But you have to act out what you see on that card, and you can't use any words at all. And there's like different levels of it. So it was cool because we did fellas versus ladies, right? So it was pretty cool. When my turn came up, we were down. We were losing to the ladies, right? Because
I mean, that's
okay, whatever. You
didn't have to tell me that.
All right. Well, anyway, we were losing to the ladies, and we were playing the 40. And so the ladies were smart. Again, y'all always be smart, because we were doing, when it comes to the 4 cards, we were doing like 1 easy, 1 medium, and 2 hard. The ladies was just doing all hard cards because you get more points for the hard cards, right? So, but obviously those subjects are harder, and you have to guess it before the card goes down there, right? And so I was like, you know what? Let's put all hard cards on there. So that's what I said, right? And the ladies was all making jokes or whatever. Oh, he not gonna get this and that and that. So we was like, all right, cool. So I did mine, and I ended up getting all 4, and it was hype, and the ladies looked so defeated on that joint. It was funny, and I remember one of the ones that we was kind of stuck on. The word was, because I had to do excited was one, so I had to like jump up like I was excited, and they were saying all these different words, and they finally came around to excited. But the one that everybody was stuck on that was funny was sleeping bag. So I had to act out sleeping bag. So I laid on the ground. Not like I was like unzipping something and getting up, and I was stretching and all that. And they were like, waking up in the morning, da-da-da-da-da. They would say all this other stuff. And I was like, I kept saying no. I kept shaking my head no. And then the dude, Matt, that was there, he was like, sleeping bag. I was like, what? We were like, what? We would all look at each other because we were like, I didn't know how he knew that, because everybody was stuck. And that was the very last one. And right before the timer won or whatever, and we ended up winning. So I just had to share that. That was pretty cool. It was a pretty cool moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I gotta play this game, Gestures. Is it like something that you buy, like in a store?
Yeah. Okay. You can easily Google it. It's something that you buy, in a store, just like any other games.
Because we do a lot of games for Thanksgiving, so that'll be a good one to do. We'll see. I don't know.
Yeah. So it was cool.
Drinking by then, I don't know.
Yeah.
They start doing crazy stuff. I don't know.
Yeah. But it's cool. Like I said, it was a good game. I feel like I played it a long time ago, but I haven't played it in a while because I had forgot. I had to have the rules explained to me again. I had forgot totally how to play, but it was a cool game. It was pretty cool. Yeah.
Well, I mean, Saturday, my daughter had a game, so we definitely went to that. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I started coaching for my daughter's volleyball team. So I'm not the head coach. I'm actually the second assistant. So, but I mean, that was the first game. The head coach, she wasn't there, so I was actually, coaching that day. So it was a great experience.
How'd it go? Did y'all win?
We ended up losing.
Okay.
But we only lost by like a few points.
Oh, so it was
we
close.
Only played, So volleyball is different. So there's no like time frame, I guess you could say, for volleyball. You play sets.
Yeah, that's right.
And so we played set up to 25, and then it's best out of the 3.
Okay.
So if one team wins the first 2 sets, then they win the whole game.
Yeah, 2
but
out of 3,
say, one team wins 1 set and another team wins the second set, then you play a third
set.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then depending on the outcome of that, I mean, it could continue on.
So did you guys? Was it 2-0, or was it like y'all go to a final third set? It was 2-0. Okay.
We didn't get to a final set.
Okay.
So
okay.
We did lose, but I mean, I was still just as proud as if we did win, because half the team has never ever played volleyball before.
Oh wow. Okay.
So
y'all doing some coaching then. That's what that sounds like.
Okay. Fundamentals.
Right.
I mean,
basics.
all the way down to like
the basics.
The boundary lines. Like.
Knowing what is, okay, I got you. Yeah. It's not even about skill level. It's like figuring out, what are we doing
but
right now?
But then we also have some people who are trying to practice skill level. So the head coach pretty much, she's working with the children or the teenagers who has a skill level type of practice needed, and then me and the assistant coach work with the beginners.
Okay, that's cool.
So
that's what's up. That's cool.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. I'm excited about that. Then on Sunday, I got my daughter's hair professionally done. I'm a braider. I've been braiding since I was in 6th grade, 5th grade, or something like that.
Okay.
And so usually I'll braid my daughter's hair, but I just don't feel like braiding. I mean, it's just one of those things where, like, I got a lot going on to sit there for 8 hours and braid some individual braids. Like, I just don't feel like doing it. It's not that I can't. I just don't feel like it. So I said, you know what? I'm going to get your hair professionally done. It was her first time ever getting her hair professionally braided to that extent.
Okay.
And
she probably liked that. That was pretty cool. She liked that. Mm-hmm. Okay. That's what's up.
And then I'm getting mine done exactly like hers this Saturday. So
y'all going to be twins for Thanksgiving.
We are going to be twins for Thanksgiving. Yep.
That's what's up.
So super excited about that. But I am going to braid my 7-year-old's hair, and then I already braided my son's hair. So
okay. So everybody braided up then. Braid game.
Yeah. Because all of us are natural. So there's no, walking around, with your hair out. Yeah. That's just a lot.
I got
you. And your hair, as soon as you lay down on pillows, your hair dries out. And then, of course, when your hair dries out, there's breakage, and it's just a rabbit hole.
Gotcha. So yeah, that's I'm so glad that I'm a guy. Like, I couldn't imagine like getting my hair done for 8 hours, like sitting there and having that, like, and it's crazy. So my daughter, she's 2.5. Like we try to do her hair like once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks, depending on, how damaged or not damaged, but how it's looking after like that first week has went by, with her being in school and rolling around and all that stuff. And man, I tell you what, that is a struggle. Like, I mean, oh my gosh, like it literally takes. So my mother-in-law, she does hair as well. She's been doing hair for a long time. So it's like she knows how to do hair. So it's like she would come over, and that's kind of like her bonding time. She'll sit there and do her hair, but it's so hard. Like, she be wanting to run and scream and crying, and so it takes 3 of us just to do our little 2-year-old daughter's hair. Like, it's crazy. Like, one, I'm holding her down, and I feel bad because I feel like I'm holding her against her will. Like, she be trying to like trying to get out, and I'm holding her like for real, like I'm holding like somebody seriously tight. And then my mother-in-law's like trying to braid the hair so quick to try to get it out the way, and then Brooke's like handing her stuff and combing parts and stuff, and it's like, and now my son is just sitting right here just laughing and just like, trying to get in the way, trying to mess us up, like, man, watch out. So that whole thing is crazy, man. So I
don't go through that.
Yeah.
Listen.
Yeah. I'm just saying. I mean, I couldn't go through 8 hours. Like we normally like about an hour. We normally have to do that for about an hour. Like,
no,
and that's
I'm just
torture.
saying in general. Like, I don't go through the fighting of trying to do my kids' hair. Yeah. I don't. None of them fight me like that. Like, every now and again, they might say, "Ow," because anytime that you. And you may not know this, but anytime that you're trying to do hair and it's dry, meaning dry like not wet or not moisturized or no product in it, anytime you're trying to part that or comb through that, it hurts.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's like all of your hair strings. I think of from this perspective, all your hair strands are at different lengths. So when you're trying to part through that, one might be closer to the scalp, one might be further. So you're pulling all these different lengths. That's why you use moisturizer to kind of break it up.
Yeah.
But that's for your African American hair.
Yeah. So that Jordan is a struggle, man. Like I every time I know what's about to happen, man, I be dreaded. I be having anxiety, like, oh my gosh, like we got to do this again. You know what I'm saying? We typically have to do it like on the weekend. We don't do it like on a Sunday or whatever. But tough. I know we're gonna do it again because Thanksgiving's coming up, so I know we're gonna be probably doing it this weekend. So definitely not looking forward to that.
Well, kudos to B and her mother, because I don't think I could listen to the screaming for a whole hour.
Yeah, it's numbing. It's numbing. Believe me, I'm right there, front and center. So
I've been braiding my son hair, and he's 3, and he doesn't give me any issues.
Yeah.
I mean,
count your blessings.
Every now and again, he might say "ow," and then I loosen up, of course. But
Yeah. Like
but I lay him down. He got snacks, a phone. I have
we
the
do
phone
all of that too,
and
man.
the TV on.
Yeah, we do all of that.
So then that way, if you look up and forget the phone in front of you, you see the TV.
We do all. We try to get all them distractions, man. Food. She likes her thing is ring pops. We give her a ring pop. She be licking the ring pop, and she be like hitting me in the face with the junk. You know what I'm saying? Wow. Like, it's just crazy. It's just it's insane, but it's all good, man. It's all good.
Yeah. Well, last week we also started, guys, writing down like our affirmations and our gratitude. I mean, we've been talking about gratitude for a long time, for the past few episodes, but we've actually been making each other accountable for writing them down. So every morning we pretty much write down 25 affirmations. So basically we write down I enjoy, and then you write down what you affirm to, like what you want in your life. So like for me this morning, my kids was going crazy. I wrote down I enjoy, what did I say? I enjoy having patience with my kids. And literally I did it 25 times, and by the time I was done, like it eased my mind, and I walked in the room and was like, okay, are y'all ready now? And I was fine.
Yeah.
But I needed that because, boy, let me tell you, one was acting crazy. One was acting like she was too sleepy to take her dog outside. The other one was just kept saying, mommy, mommy, mommy. I was like, oh, my goodness. So did that, wrote down my gratitudes, and then some personal notes. And then we also started to have these team meetings. So outside of myself and Bryan, we also have another loan officer teammate named Laura Harris, and then we also have an assistant named Kayla. And all of us, we've started to meet every morning just to kind of get on the same page, kind of discuss some of these things like your commitments for the week, your affirmations, your gratitude, and we're trying to get into the habit of holding each other accountable. So that's what we do as a team, but we highly encourage for you to do that in your everyday life.
Yeah.
Have a group of friends, have people that you can hold each other accountable to.
Yeah.
And hopefully that'll help you guys grow to be better.
Yeah.
Because that's what we're doing. So, of course, we always like to share a tidbit of what we do and kind of implement that into you guys' life.
Yeah, no, it's been big for me. Like I said, it's our first week doing it, but it's been huge for me because I know how I am. I'm always like, I have stuff set up for a day, and then I'm like, something will change that day. Like I'll get a call, and I have to jump on something, and then the next thing I know, I was like, well, I'll just get it done by the end of the week. You know what I mean? I'm always just pushing everything off by the end of the week. Yeah. And, it holds me accountable to make sure I'm doing what I said I'm going to do, because I'm big on that. If I say I'm going to do something, I try to make sure I do it. Correct. You know what I mean? So it's like when you have your peers, your teammates, doing the same thing and having those conversations, it's like, hey, I can't let them down. I got to make sure I'm holding my end of the bargain, right? So yeah, it's been really good. I look forward to it. That was something that I learned when we went to Nashville, and I was like, oh, okay, because literally every single person up there that we talked to, that was some of the things I was like, you know what, that's a good thing that we need to kind of take back home and do, because they were like, hey, the same type of issues that I was having as far as how my day and then my week, I'm looking back like Monday through Friday, like there was 5 or 6 things I said I was going to do, and I didn't get a chance to do them because, the day took over me and I wasn't able to control the day.
And then what happens is once you don't complete those items, you still have life.
Correct.
Ahead of time. So, you end up getting into a space where you still have those things that you were supposed to do.
Yep.
And then now you have things that you have to do.
Correct.
And so you're trying to double up and overcompensate to get everything done. And then when you're tired and not able to, function with time with your family, your kids or whatever, then you're pooped. And you're like, okay, I'm just done.
Yeah.
So having that accountability team is great. And if you don't have a team at work, maybe having a group of friends or a network of 2 or 3 friends that y'all get up and y'all hold each other accountable.
Exactly.
Have time to, just touch base once a week to kind of motivate each other.
Yeah.
To each other's commitments, affirmations, and gratitude.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So, now it's time for the exercise your knowledge question of the day. So during this segment, what we do is we ask you a question pretty much related to mortgage. That's typically what we do. And we want you to think about this question. If you know the answer, great. If you don't know the answer, you're learning. So the question for the day is, what is the difference between a line of credit and a loan?
It's a good question. It's a real good question. Yeah, I think a lot of people
don't give the answer.
Yeah, I think I always go to look. You're right. I always try to expound, and then I always kind of expound too much, right? No, I think a lot of people think it's the same thing. Yeah. That's what I was going to say. Yeah. So I mean, obviously, with the question, we know they're two different things. Yep. But that's all I'm going to say now. They're definitely two different things.
Yep.
So
two different things. So again, what is the difference between a line of credit and a loan? Think about that. If you're able to write it down so you can remember, if you can write down the answer. If not, we're going to tell you the answer, and then hopefully that'll be something that's in your memory bank for the future, so when you get into the situation, you know the answer.
There we go. Yeah, can't wait to discuss it here in a little bit. Today, we wanted to talk about, I know a lot of folks now have been turning their caps to being investors, right? Yeah. A lot of folks have been trying to purchase investment properties, for rental purposes, even for, fixing and flipping, all different types of things of that nature. I'm an investor as well. So is Sofia. So we're out there, getting our hands dirty as well. So when it comes to different purchase types, we want to kind of discuss, we typically talk about, buying a home for yourself to live in, right? As an owner occupant, right? And so when you're buying a house, there's 3 different dispositions that the home or that purchase can be described as, right? So it's either you're buying the house for your own occupant, meaning I'm going to buy the house to live in as my primary residence. You can buy a house for investment, right? Which
Number 2.
Yeah, that's the second one. And the third one that we really don't talk very much about, but I feel like needs to be touched on, and that's what we're going to do today, is a second home, right? So
we all know what a second home is.
Correct.
Obviously, because it's in the name.
Correct.
Second home. This means that this is your second house that you own, but it is not quite an investment property.
Correct. Yeah. So second home, like Sofia just mentioned, is a home that, when people always say, hey, that's my second home, like I'm there, but I don't live there as my primary, right? So, your second home is a place that, you live partially throughout the year, but you don't live it as, it's not your primary residence, right? And so a lot of times there's opportunities there when it comes to buying a home, and it being your second home, right? Especially if you spend time there. Like, for instance, I'll just give an example for myself. So we have a second home down in the Outer Banks. So, we live in Hampton Roads, and the Outer Banks is about an hour and a half from here. And it's a beach home. It's a home that's along the Outer Banks in the Corolla area of the Outer Banks. And, we rent it out most of the time throughout the year, right? We have short-term rentals. We rent it out at a week at a time. We have a property management company that manages it for us, makes sure that, everything is held properly, make sure that everything is, all the monies are being paid correctly, they're advertising it for us and all that good stuff. And then we also go down to ourselves, right? So we spend time ourselves in the home. And so there were benefits when it comes to buying a home as a second home versus buying a home as an investment property. Because when we bought it, when we were thinking about bought it, really we had the mindset as an investment, but we also enjoy going down there. So with that second piece of being able to enjoy it ourselves, it allowed us to purchase it as a second home. And so a second home benefit, like when you're buying an investment property, you typically have to put down at least 15% when you're buying an investment property. So, that could be, it could be a lot of money depending on your circumstances, right? But
and that's minimum.
Yeah, and that's minimum.
15% is minimum.
Yeah, in most cases it's 20%.
Up to 25.
Yeah, up to 25. Yeah, if you're buying a multi-unit home, right? So a home that's a duplex, a triplex, or a quad, and you're buying it as an investment property, you got to put down 25%. So, it's even more when there's that extra investment piece added into it because of the amount of units that are, with the property. So with second homes, you can put down 10%, right? So that's, it saves you a couple dollars in that way. It gives you an opportunity to, have a property that you can live in part-time and then also rent out as well. So that has that investment piece that you're, having from an investment purchase. So there is an opportunity to make money off the property, but there's also an opportunity for you to enjoy it yourself. One of the biggest things that you have to know about a second home is that how far it needs to be from your primary residence, right? So a second home has to be at least 50 miles from where your current primary residence is. Now, there are exceptions to that, right? Mm-hmm. So like in this area, we live in Hampton Roads, and I live in Chesapeake, for instance, right? And Virginia Beach is a touristy coastal area that we have here, and that's less than 50 miles from my current primary residence. So there's a way for you to still purchase something that's in a coastal or in a area that does a lot of short-term rentals. That's a place that's touristy. You can buy it and it be less than 50 miles from your house, because they're not going to penalize you just because you live close to that area already, right? So you can still purchase a home as a second home in that regard. And I'll let Sophia kind of chime in on some other differences between a second home and an investment property.
Yeah, so with the resort area, you also want to keep in mind that, like Bryan said, Virginia Beach is a touristy area. However, all of Virginia Beach is not touristy. Correct. So if anybody is from here listening, you know that Newtown Road or anywhere that's more inland is not really considered resort area. There's no water there. There's no beach area. It's pretty much residential. But as you get closer to the beach
oceanfront,
and the oceanfront on Atlantic Avenue or Pacific Avenue, that's like 1 to 2 blocks away from the ocean side. Those are your more resort-like areas. Those are the places that people from out of town are coming to like visit on vacation. So those properties in that area would be considered something similar to a resort area that will allow you to buy a house as a second home that is less than 50 miles away from your primary residence.
Yeah, and that's huge. I mean, that's a big thing. I know a lot of folks, especially with Airbnbs and that being kind of a popular thing over the last 10 years and being really prevalent, especially in this area. You could potentially buy a home as an Airbnb and put down as little as 10%. If you're planning to live in it a little bit and also have that investment piece, right? So that's huge. I mean, it just kind of allows you to, I'm always looking to try to save you guys money, right? So that's a way to not have to put as much money down when it comes to purchasing the home. And also another thing that you probably didn't know, that when it comes to buying a home, there's different impacts on the interest rate based upon the type of home that you're buying and the way that you're going to disposition that home, right? So when you're buying a house for primary occupancy, whatever the rates are, the best rates that are available, that's what you're going to get for that primary aspect of it, right?
They're a little bit more lenient than your second home and your investment properties, because from the standpoint of the lender, you're less likely to let that home go if you're living in it.
Exactly. So you're less likely to let that home go, or even insurance-wise, it's less likely for something to happen because they're using that home as collateral when they're putting a mortgage against it, a lien against the home. It's less likely for something to happen if you're there every day being able to see what's going on. But when you're bringing other people into the equation as far as investment, if you're renting a place out, or even a second home where you're having multiple different renters at different times, there's more opportunity for something to happen negatively in those situations, right? So, there's a rate increase when it comes to you buying a second home, and there's even a bigger rate increase when it comes to buying an investment property. But I will say the rate increase from when you're buying a primary residence to a second home is very, very minimum. It's not very much different than when you're buying a primary. But there's a big significant difference when it comes to you buying a second home to an investment property as far as the rate. I mean, sometimes you're looking at a full point and a half. I mean, it just really all depends on, all the different particulars. But, it's just another way for you to buy a home with an investment piece, and also get a much lower interest rate because, it is a second home, right? So you're able to kind of get the benefit of the investment aspect of it, not pay that investment rate, because the rate is a very important aspect when you're looking for that investment, because depending on it affects your monthly payment. So you want to obviously try to have that payment as little as possible. So, depending upon how much you're able to get, net rent on those properties, you're able to pocket a little bit more money. So, that's a big difference. I mean, also, even some of the small particulars, like when you're buying an investment property, the most that the seller can provide as far as closing cost assistance is 2%, right? Even though it's a conventional loan, the most that they can provide is 2%. Now, on a second home, they could provide, just like how it normally is on a primary purchase, they could provide up to, for a conventional loan, 3%, right? So, that helps as well. Like I said, I'm trying to keep more money in you guys' pocket, so it allows the seller to contribute more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then both products will also allow you to purchase with a minimum score of at least a 620. But also keep in mind, guys, a 620 is going to drive your interest rate a little higher than someone who has over a 740 credit score.
Yep.
And your mortgage insurance, which we also discussed in previous episodes, will possibly be higher due to the threshold of your credit score. So
correct.
Just keep that in mind. When you guys are looking, you do have options depending on what your occupancy is. You could potentially purchase a home as a second home. You could potentially purchase as an investment property. Second homes just pretty much means that you're going to occupy the house for at least 2 weeks out the year, or 10% of the amount of time that you're renting.
Yep.
Investment property means that you never have to live in it a day out the year.
Yep.
You don't have to do anything with the property besides rent it and collect, your net proceeds.
Yeah. Or if you fix it up and sell it too.
Yeah, you can fix it up, sell it, flip it. You could do, pretty much whatever you would like to do with that investment piece. There's no occupancy requirement.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I hope you guys learned a lot today between what that second home investment property difference is. I feel like that's some good information for you to know, because as you purchase your primary residence, hopefully you're enticed to want to buy more property. Something to hand down to your children potentially. Mm-hmm. It's a great savings account if you really think about it. Because when you have a savings or a checking account, and let's say you're working hard and you're able to save $15,000 in your account. What's your interest rate on that savings account? How much are you really gaining from the financial institution for having your money in their bank? Yeah, they may give you 0.01% of your balance. Yeah. But if you take that same money and invest it into a property, appreciation is always going to happen. So for the most part, of course, things can definitely fluctuate, but
over time, real estate's always going to go up. It's not going to go down, because it's a commodity where, there's not very many. We're always reproducing. There's more people. We're living longer, and people are always going to need to find a place to stay. So Correct. It's always going to be a demand for real estate, and also therefore the demand is obviously going to drive the price up.
Yep. And so as long as if that same money is sitting in a property, then you're always going to make money from it. It's not tangible, of course. You can't just go and open the door and get the money out of the house.
Correct. Yeah. But it's there.
It's there. So if you ever decide to sell it, if you decide to refinance it, to take cash out, there's ways that you can get that money out of there with the equity that you have in the property. Yeah.
And like I said, we just wanted to make sure you knew the difference, because I know there's several times that people will reach out to me that say, hey, I want to buy a home. I want to buy this house because I'm going to rent it out for Airbnb. And they're automatically thinking that they have to purchase it as an investment property, and they're having to have this amount of money down. This is the interest rate. And so a lot of times I'm able to kind of have these conversations where, I can kind of change the way the person's thinking about the situation, where they can purchase a second home, which is going to benefit them on the interest rate. It's going to benefit them on the amount of money they have to put out of their pocket for down payment. And it's also going to benefit them on, if the seller is able or willing to provide closing cost assistance, it's going to also allow them to get more assistance in that regard. Yeah. So it's huge. Like I said, even for myself, when we were looking at buying our home, we were looking for a short-term rental. And me as a mortgage professional, I was like kind of weighing our options. And I was like, oh, man, we can actually buy it. I knew because I've been doing this for a while, but it did kind of slipped my mind a little bit, like, hey, I'm going to have to buy this as an investment property. But I was like, no, I can buy it as a second home and be able to get all those benefits of it. And also, when you qualify for a second home, you can use some of the rental income that's being, so if you're buying a home that was previously rented and currently been rented, you can show, if a person has books and show that there's rental history with that property, you can actually use that rental income to help yourself qualify, right? So that's a huge thing. So you don't have to count the full mortgage payment of whatever it would be for that particular purchase. You could actually use some of the income to offset that payment, which allows you to...
Because we know that you're making money off of it.
Correct.
So we can consider that income.
Correct.
Towards your... as income to reduce your debt-to-income ratio.
Correct. So we just want to make sure y'all knew all of your options out there. It's not limited to just buying a home to live in as a primary or an investment property. There is that that stepchild or that cousin out there, as we say sometimes, that second home. So, we definitely want to make sure that you guys are informed about that.
Well, that was good information for sure.
Yeah.
So earlier in the segment, we asked our exercise your knowledge question. Earlier in the segment, the question was, what is the difference between a line of credit and a loan? So if you're tuning in a little bit later than you should be, the exercise your knowledge segment is when we ask a question at the beginning of the segment and then we reveal the answer towards the end. Mm-hmm. So,
drum roll. So the difference between a line of credit and a loan is the term and then payback time, right? So we're talking about HELOC, right, from the second lien position, right? So a lot of times folks have equity in their home, and we may have a conversation about refinancing, doing a cash out where they can borrow equity. Sometimes
you're talking too big.
Sorry.
Bring it back.
Bring it back. All right. So the difference, between... So
what's a line of credit?
A line of credit...
How do you identify that?
So when you go to an institution to get financing and be able to use your equity that you have in your home, they will say, okay, hey, based on your loan to value, you're able to utilize X amount of dollars of your equity, right? And typically what they'll do is they'll give you like a checkbook or a card that you can use for the equity in your home, right? And so you'll have like an interest rate on that amount, and it grows every time you grow. It's almost like a credit card for your equity, right? So that's a line of credit. So let's say you own a home, you've been living in it for a while, and you developed equity, you have $150,000 in equity in your home, right? That means what you owe versus how much the home is worth is the difference of that is $150,000. They may say, hey, $100,000 of that you're able to use as a line of credit. So you can go out and buy stuff or whatever, but each month, each time you spend that money, there will be, a payment that you have to pay back, based on that interest rate, right? So it's like how you use a credit card, you swipe it.
I think that you're talking more specific of home equity line of credit.
Correct.
We're telling the people what's the difference between a credit line and a loan.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, you go ahead and expound. My bad. I'm sorry. My bad. I was thinking we were talking about mortgage, like you said, a home equity line of credit and a home equity loan.
That's a good example.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So your line of credit is going to be something that's open ended. Mm-hmm. So your line of credit is going to be very similar to what Bryan was saying. It's going to be your home equity line of credit. It's going to be your credit cards. This is something that when you get approved for it, let's say you get a max credit line of $10,000. Let's say you go spend $5,000 of that money. If you pay back $5,000, then you're back open to having a $10,000 line of credit that you can use over and over again. So Correct. It's open ended. It Correct. Never, unless you get delinquent or there's something huge that happens in the economy where they start shutting down those cards, because that's happened before.
That has happened. Yeah, that's true.
That's something that's gonna forever be revolving. Okay. And then you have your loans. Those are more closed-ended products. So an example of a loan would be like your mortgage, your auto loan. So this is something that, let's say you purchase a car and your car is $30,000. Well, once you make your monthly payments for that term, and let's say your term is 72 months, once you make all of those payments, that ends, and then you're paid in full. It does not revolve. It does not keep going unless you decide to purchase something new, and then you'll get a loan. So how to identify those things or those two different products is when you're at your financial institution, the key word is line and then loan.
Correct.
So when you see anything that has loan against it, then you know that there's a set term. You're going to make a set monthly payment over that term, and then once that is paid off in full, then it's finished.
Correct.
A line, your monthly payment, depending on your balance, may fluctuate.
Correct. But
it's always open-ended. So as soon as you pay it off or you pay it down, it basically replenishes the amount that you have used.
That's right.
So those are the two differences in what's called your line of credit and then your loans.
Correct. Yeah. Sorry, folks. I was going down the look. I was talking about HELOCs and line of credits. Man.
Now you can. You can explain what a HELOC is. I mean, you ever see that those abbreviations, HELOC. That's a HELOC. And in the mortgage world, we love to use abbreviations.
Yeah, we
use abbreviations for everything. Yeah. FHA, that's an abbreviation.
VA,
that's an abbreviation.
Yeah. Fannie Mae.
FNMA, that's an abbreviation.
For Fannie Mae, yeah.
So abbreviations is something that we use interchangeably all the time. Every term in the mortgage industry has some sort of abbreviation. So one of them being a HELOC, which is your home equity line of credit.
Correct.
So that's what Bryan was looking to explain. But you can definitely explain that, because that's important, because right now in this rate environment, people may not want to refinance. Yeah. They may want to do what is called a HELOC. So go ahead and tell them what a HELOC is.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, Sophia. The difference between those two is, like Sophia mentioned, it's the same principle. It's just utilizing your equity, right? So, you could borrow your equity in a way where you pay, you borrow some of it. Let's say you have a limit of 100,000, as I mentioned to you. Let's say you borrow 20,000 of it, and then you pay it back. So you still have that 100,000 at your disposal to use. It's like a credit card in a sense, right? But a home equity loan is when you get a fixed amount lent to you, and then after you pay off that amount, then it's over, right? You're no longer owning. There's no longer monthly payments associated with it. It's paid and it's done. So that's the difference. And you can utilize both of those options. It's something that I've been helping a lot of people do recently, like you said, because of the rate environment we're in. Sometimes, for folks that are a little bit more savvier, they're like, hey, I don't want to mess up, or not mess up, I don't want to change my current mortgage rate. So I would rather just go ahead and get a line of credit or get a loan, in the second lien position, and utilize those funds for, whatever they were looking to try to accomplish. So it is something that you can also do as well.
You just have to have the equity in your property to be able to utilize it.
Correct. So. And typically it's like 80 to 85%. When it comes to that second lien position. So when you add what you currently owe as your first mortgage, and you add that second either loan or line of credit, when you add both of those together and divide it into the value, those can't be greater than about 80 to 85%, depending on your credit. That's typically how it works.
Yep. Got to have the equity in the property to utilize those two products. But they're, like Bryan said, it's a good product for you to be able to use.
Yeah.
Because if you refinance, then you're subject to whatever the market rate is at that time.
Correct.
Now, for some people, refinancing is very beneficial, because you could take the equity and pay off 100% of your debt and potentially you're increasing your mortgage payment, but then you're debt free. And before, your debts plus your mortgage were, more than what your new mortgage would be.
Correct.
So for some individuals, that's actually a good thing to do, is refi. But for some who let's say, you have a house and you want to make renovations, and your renovations is like $20,000, but you don't want to deplete your savings, and you're pretty much debt free. Well, you can utilize a home equity line of credit or a home equity loan and still keep your interest rate on your primary residence. So both are two very great options to use. So is a refinance. It just depends on your particular situation. Every situation is not the same. We all have different nuances within our financials that will change the different product that we would use.
Yeah.
But end of the day, we still want you guys to understand the difference between a line of credit and a loan, and
Correct.
how they work.
Correct.
So line means open, loan means ended.
Yeah.
So open-ended, close-ended. Once you're done with the loan, it's done. Line of credit, it replenishes itself.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah. So
what we got coming up? Yeah, I was about to say, what's
coming up next?
Let's see.
So for me,
what you got?
I think I mentioned this earlier. I'm getting my hair done tomorrow, so I'm super excited about that, because being natural is no joke. It's not for the weak.
It's not for the weak. I heard that.
It's not for the weak. My daughter has a volleyball game tomorrow. My cousin is flying into town on Sunday for Thanksgiving. She's going to actually come and spend a full 7 days with us. So she'll be here from Sunday to Sunday. So that's exciting, because we haven't seen each other since, oh my gosh, I want to say over the summer, maybe April or something like that. We saw each other. So it's been a minute, and we typically try to link up more often than that.
Okay.
I gotta get my dog groomed for Thanksgiving. Like,
get the dog groomed for Thanksgiving. Okay.
Yeah. Make sure she's together.
Okay.
If we're all braided, I mean, she gotta be together too, right?
That is true. Can't have a dog slacking. Yeah.
Next week, I don't know what I was thinking when I made this doctor's appointment, but I have a doctor's appointment on Tuesday, so I have to do that right before the holidays. But just kind of touching base on that, like, make sure you guys are going to the doctor and get your annual checkups. You never know how important that is.
Oh, yeah.
Especially as, African American people, we tend to think that if we're feeling good, we're good.
Mm-hmm.
So always go to the doctor, get your yearly checkups, get your annual exams, make sure that you're living healthy, make sure that you're doing good. And even though I scheduled mine at the wrong time of the year, I'm definitely excited to make sure that, I'm keeping up on my health and I'm doing good. And then besides that, I mean, me and Bryan, we have a ninja training meeting on Tuesday as well, that afternoon, which is always good because it's very motivational. Like, every time we have these meetings and we're talking about ninja training, it gives us that boost.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it does.
It's like, what's the, was it Super Mario? What video game when they got like that little boost and then they'll just go real fast? Was it Super Mario?
I mean, a lot of games did that. I'm trying to think what in particular though. Like, I mean, I remember Sonic even did that.
Okay, Sonic, yes.
Yeah, Sonic did that.
Sonic,
Super Sonic. Yeah,
yes, yeah. So it's like that. It's that analogy of like going fast already because we're always on the go.
Yeah.
We're always moving, always going from A to B to C. Just all the time. But then when we have this ninja training, it's like you feel like the sky is not even the limit. Like, you can just go above and beyond. So having these meetings are so beneficial.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Yeah, my next couple of days, like I said, the last week and a half, man, has been insane. So, I mean, I'm definitely looking forward to not doing very much the next couple of days leading up to Thanksgiving. I know tomorrow my son has tennis in the morning, so looking forward to that because I wasn't here last weekend to be able to do that with him. Now, we got invited to a birthday party as well. So, we got a couple of buddies that their daughter's having a birthday. I think she's turning 6. So, we're definitely looking forward to that. When it comes to anything else, I mean, just really preparing for Thanksgiving this year.
So, what you cooking?
Well, let me finish. I was gonna get there.
Oh, okay.
So Thanksgiving. This year we're hosting it. Typically we rotate between my house, my parents' house, and then we'll sometimes have it down at the beach house as well. So this year we're actually having it at my house because last year was at my parents' house. So this year cooking, I'm just making really the turkey. I mean, everyone who's coming has been assigned to make something. So my mother is making her potato salad. My dad is making the ham. Let's see. Brooke is making she's making the stuffing.
Do y'all eat stuffing or dressing?
I mean dressing. Yeah, dressing. Okay. Yeah, dressing. Yeah, I'm sorry. She's making the dressing. My mother-in-law's making the greens. Brooke's aunt is making the macaroni and cheese. I think my sister is making the desserts. She makes this really good it's like this peanut butter Rice Krispie chocolate thing. Like, it's like this, I don't know, it's like a Rice Krispie treat, but it has peanut butter and it has chocolate on it. It's like really, really good. Brooke's also making a whole bunch of sweet potato pies. We love sweet potato pies. Everybody in my family loves sweet potato pies. So I know she's making that. And I feel like I'm missing something. I think that might be it, at least from what I know. I mean, as far as like everybody who's coming is all individually making a little something. So my job, we are always fried turkey. So I drop it in the fryer, in the peanut oil and do that. So I mean, that's kind of what I've been tasked to do this year. So not too hard. Everybody's kind of doing a collaborative effort. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. So what about you? What you got going?
Well, this year, so my cousin, he just recently bought a new construction property in a city called Aylett, Virginia.
Okay.
And so we're all going to go up to his house. He wanted to host Thanksgiving this year because he's in his new home, his first home. So we're gonna go there.
You said what part of Virginia?
Aylett.
Aylett, where is that?
Aylett. It's like 45 minutes east of Richmond.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, cool.
I don't even think.
How far is that from here?
Minutes.
Like if you
2 hours.
Oh, 2 hours from here. Okay,
yeah,
that's what's up.
It's about 2 hours from here. But so we actually just went over the list because typically I cook for Thanksgiving.
Okay.
This year I don't have to cook, so let me take that back. He's already tasked me to do the macaroni and cheese. He wants me to make a salad, which I'll do, and then the deviled eggs. Like that's hands down. That's what he wants me to do every year. Like even throughout the year, he's like, "Hey, cuz, what's your recipe for the mac and cheese?" So those are my tasks for Thanksgiving. I don't really know how to bake and things like that, but I can make some cake or something if he asks me to. Mm-hmm. Now, the day after Thanksgiving, that's the big celebration at my house. So in return, everybody's now going to migrate to my house. And on Friday, we're going to do a fish fry.
Okay.
Oh, you know what? I left this out. So my cousin's making etouffee.
Oh, wow.
For
Thanksgiving? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So we're going to have etouffee and mashed potatoes, but then we'll have all your traditional stuff. We're fried turkey, ham,
that's going to be good.
Greens, deviled eggs. We don't really do potato salad, candy yams, rolls, cornbread, dressing, Cornish hen, like all your normal Southern, or what is it? Not Southern food. What is it called? Soul food. Soul food. And then on Friday, we're going to do a fish fry. We're going to have salad. And then we're still trying to figure out the rest of the menu as far as like food for Friday. We already got the dessert covered.
So hold on. So real quick question. Mm-hmm. So that's a lot of food. So you saying Thanksgiving, y'all all are going to be at your cousin's house.
Yep.
And you're going to have all this food.
Yep.
And then you're gonna.
But you gotta think it's a lot of people.
Correct.
So even though it's gonna be a lot of food,
so you think all the food is gonna be gone?
I mean, I don't think all the food's gonna be gone. That well, it'll be a real good dent in it because you gotta think is we got my family, that's 5 people. We got his kid, him and his kids. He's bringing his girlfriend, her kid, and then my nephew, his kids, my cousin. And then we got friends that live up there that are coming. Okay. So I
guess I know. I always be thinking, like, I know for me, it's always a lot of food left for Thanksgiving. You gotta think
everybody got kids.
Yeah.
So just true. Imagine if
that's true.
Your parents was coming, they had kids. Yeah. I mean, y'all are the kids, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, the kids. Yeah, once you start putting all the kids and stuff, that does kind of, and they eat. So I know they take it
multiple times, and then they waste and eat. So like you make them a plate, they make like 2 things on the plate, and then they throw that away, and then they get something new, and then they eat that, and it's 2 things that they eat on the plate. So
that's true.
It's forever.
I was like, damn, you got to go all the way there, cook, and eat all this food, and then come back and you about to cook again and eat more food. That's a lot.
Well, I mean, we're gonna cook on Friday because we're gonna.
You said the fish fry,
we're gonna have to. We gotta eat. I mean, you're supposed to eat 3 times in a day. Now, are we gonna have breakfast on Friday? Nah, you gonna warm up some of that ham. Yeah. Scrub you some eggs and call it a day.
Yeah, like I said, I know I'll be eating on Thanksgiving food for darn near it's my birthday. Like, I'll be eating on it for a while. So,
Lord, no. I can't do that. I have 2-3 days tops, and I'm maxed out.
Yeah, I'm making ham sandwiches, turkey, sandwiches, and we doing it up. Yeah, we doing it up. But nah, that's what's up, man. That's like, so I think that's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be a good time.
It's gonna be a good time. I know he excited. So, let me tell you. So, something happened to me, which I know it's time for us to go because we've been here for a while. We don't want to take y'all too far out. But, so, I have an indoor turkey fryer, guys. I know it sounds crazy, but it's like an 8-liter turkey fryer, and you can fit up to a 20-pound turkey in this deep fryer. Okay. I love that deep fryer because you don't have to go outside. Like, it's cool when it's warm outside to go outside and cook, but when it's not so warm outside, I don't like to go outside and cook. I don't like to have to put on a jacket or run out there and be cold trying to fry something, right? So my cousin called me and said, "Hey, Sophia, bring your fryer." And I was like, I'm not about to bring no fryer 2 hours away. I said, you know what? I'm going to send you one. So I went on Home Depot and I sent him a fryer. So tell me why because I have an account with Home Depot, so they ended up sending the deep fryer that I sent to his house to my house.
Oh, wow.
But on the package, it had his address. So when I called Home Depot, I was like, hey, how did y'all make this a mistake? Like, there's no way that the package says his address, but then it comes to my address. And they were like, oh, well, that's because of the carrier. I'm like, nah, the shipping label had to be wrong because the carrier don't know my address. Like, that's not, it can't be the case,
yeah, that is
right?
backward. That's crazy. Yeah.
So, because I've seen it to where, maybe they got the names wrong. So maybe they sent it to my house under his name, or, but correct. Address, that just was weird to me, right?
Yeah, that is weird.
So I called and they ended up refunding me and sending a new air fryer. So I ended up with 2 air fryers. 2 turkey fryers. Not air fryers, 2 turkey fryer, deep fryers. So now remember I told you guys, I have one already. And I sent one to his house and I have an extra one. So I now have 3 turkey fryers, but I gave one to my cousin.
Oh, wow.
So it's crazy.
Wow.
So needless to say, you guys, there is an indoor turkey fryer, and maybe get it from Home Depot, because if they mess up, they'll definitely fix it.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. You must have yelled at them or something. That's a trip. Yeah, you must have yelled at them.
Oh, no, I didn't yell at them. I just, stated the fact that they messed up and, gotta fix it.
Yeah, I don't know. Every time I try to, get, I don't know. Like, I don't normally get free stuff. Like, it's just, I don't know. I don't know if I guess they hear I'm not, my voice isn't stern enough. I don't know. Like, I'll be like, man, but yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, going into the quote of the day, you want to take the honors of giving a quote of the day today?
Yeah,
let's go ahead and motivate the people before the holidays.
There we go. So, this is something that I feel like is very, very important for folks to know and to understand. But it's the size of your success is measured by the strength of your desire, the size of your dream, and how you handle disappointment along the way. I think that's very important to understand and to know, because everyone, at least a lot of folks, I should say, thinks that success is just like, it's this always feel good type of situation, and it's not. I mean, a lot of times it's disappointment, it's failure, it's a lot of adversity that happens, but it's always about how you react to those and how you can overcome those situations. And that's really what the true path or what success looks like. Is always being able to overcome things, and then you look back and see like, hey, like I was able to do this, and I learned a lot on the way, and I was able to obtain whatever it was that you had set out to do. So just understanding that it's going to be difficult times through anyone's journey to whatever they call success is, but just being able to overcome those things, being able to learn during that time frame, and just to continue to push forward, man. That's what it's all about.
That is what it's all about. My niece called me and said something similar to that. She was like, when things don't go right, I get so disappointed and discouraged. She was like, I just feel like a failure. And I'm like, girl, you know how many times I failed?
Yeah. I always say.
She was like, it don't seem like it. She was like, TT, it seemed like you got it all the way together. I said, that's because I don't dwell on those failures.
There you go. Yeah. I always say,
everybody fails.
If you ain't failing, you ain't trying. That's how I look at it. Because I feel like anytime you try something, you are going to fail. Like if you really try, like, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm talking about like try something, not just like dabble or whatever. Yeah. Like if you really try something, you're going to fail. You know what I'm saying? So,
but when you fail, you learn.
Correct.
And when you learn, you grow, and when you grow, you succeed.
There you go.
So, just keep that in mind throughout your day. Everything that you do, give it 100%.
Yeah.
Give it 110%.
Yeah.
If you really want things to happen for yourself, you're gonna make them happen, and excuses are gonna be just so small that you'll look past them.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, guys. Well, that's all the time that we have for you today. Please follow us on IG and Facebook. My IG and Facebook name is SKB_mortgage. Brian's is B Roy Star.
Yep.
Thank you for listening to our podcast, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week.